Alright guys, hey, I'm Captain Zeus and welcome to the channel. This is going to be my second movie review that I've done. The first one was Mortal Kombat. If you guys want to see about that, link will be either in the description or up on the screen somewhere. But today I'm going to be going over the Tom Clancy Without Remorse movie. It's like almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I just finished watching it right after watching the Invincible finale, which podcast about that entire series will be posted on the block party coming soon. But spoiler alert for anyone that hasn't seen Without Remorse. If you have seen it, oh my gosh. First of all, Michael B. Jordan did an amazing job in this movie. Like, his acting was A1. He reacted pretty well as someone that just lost, their wife and unborn child due to an attack, basically. That was perfectly fine. I didn't have a problem with it. There were some parts where I was just kind of like speculating plot-wise, but it's not like Mortal Kombat where it led me astray or something absolutely ridiculous. The action scenes were phenomenal. I really was into it. I'm not huge on Tom Clancy, to be honest. When I watched Jack Ryan, that's when I started to get into it, and I know this does tie into the whole Jack Ryan universe that they're building. So there's Jack Ryan, and then Without Remorse is in it, and then if you've seen the end credit scenes, which if you haven't, you need to, the end credit scene sets up for Rainbow Six. I don't know if it'll be a movie or a series, but that was an amazing setup as well. I really liked the plot. I felt like it could have been dragged on a little bit more, where you were kind of like hunting for Guy Pearce's character, or maybe like see that the director of the CIA was involved as well. Right after the incident in Murmansk, it was kind of just like a jump to Guy Pearce's character, which in all honesty, when you're watching it, you only have two suspects: the guy that's a pretty big name actor, or the lady that's not a big name actor. Most people would have probably went with Guy Pearce's character, but I kind of had this hunt that it was the CIA director because Ritter was getting all of his info from the CIA, and it's kind of like a chain reaction there. It could have been like a Gemini Man thing where both of them were working together and she's like the pawn, he's the guy in charge kind of deal. That would have been fine too. I want to say the soundtrack was absolutely beautiful. Clancy, who did the soundtrack, did an amazing job. Absolutely loved it. Casting for the movie was really good. I thought everyone acted out very well. Nothing super crazy or like over the top, I should say. The only things I kind of had an issue about was Michael B. Jordan's character was kind of just like the same throughout the movie. He didn't really tone it down or anything like that. He just kept getting more and more messy, as Lieutenant Greer mentioned, which also awesome connection to Jack Ryan, having her be what was it, his niece, something like that. But yeah, that was a pretty cool connection there. But it was just, yes, he was on a revenge path, but he also didn't show many other emotions besides anger, especially like when his teammates were getting downed. Yeah, he was just kind of just like, well, there's another one bites the dust kind of deal. But I don't know, I could have felt a little bit more emotion. But I mean, it's not like crazy. I still think he did an amazing job in the movie. It was really, to be honest, it was more of a guy flick. I mean, it's this guy getting revenge on his family, that just died. So he just goes out guns blazing. He does some literal ridiculous stuff. And when you see him putting like the dynamite on the wall and exploding, I got a definite Rainbow Six vibe. I've only played Rainbow Six Siege like a little bit when it first came out. I'm not a huge Tom Clancy fan, to be honest, but this series, the Jack Ryan series and this movie is really getting me into it. I honestly can't wait for Amazon to make some more of this stuff. As successful as this was, Michael B. Jordan also helped produce this movie, which shows how much of input he had on it as well. Which, like I said, phenomenal job he did. Phenomenal movie in general. I would probably give this like an 8.5, maybe a 9. If it was stretched out plot-wise, I'd like plots that are kind of like intriguing and kind of like interwoven with stuff where it's like you have to speculate on things, and then like when you finally get to it, you're like, oh my gosh, it all makes sense. I love movies like that. So I would probably give it a 9 if the build up for who's behind everything was a bit better, which it it was okay. You know, it wasn't too crazy, but I'm gonna give it like an 8.5 out of 10. It was still a good movie. I would definitely recommend it to people that haven't, you know, seen Jack Ryan. If you haven't seen Jack Ryan, you can still watch this movie and not know anything, and you'll be perfectly fine. But that end credit scene really helps set up Rainbow Six, which is going to help expand the whole Tom Clancy verse that they're doing on Amazon. I mean, it's not like this is a crazy long interview. That's really the meat and bones of what I found about it. Let me know in the comments what you think about this movie and about that end credit scene as well. If you haven't, go ahead and check out my Mortal Kombat movie review on my channel. I also did a lengthy podcast on it as well on the Block Party. The podcast's name is Nerds and Squares, so please check out that as well. And you know, support's greatly appreciated. As always, like and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for stopping by and watching the video, and I will catch you guys in the next one.